The hypothesis has been put out there a few times, but we actually haven't seen any data that corroborates that yet. There are some spikes in cancellations, but actually the larger parts of those spikes that we see are just the rules and regulations, the government announcements, and that's more of the pain on the cancellation side that we have to deal with, which is a lot of conversations with people where we try and proactively cancel as early as possible, to give people the time to replan their holidays, because that's the worst case scenario for us, is where people's holidays are cancelled and then they don't have any good options, and they that thing that they've been building up for all year and looking forward to, then it becomes not a positive experience. So actually that's the larger part of it for us. And so we just monitor cancellation rates in general. The larger spikes are things not on the consumer side, and even sometimes on the owner side. We've definitely noticed a spike on the owner side where they're trying to manage their demand and their sales a little bit more closely as well. But as I said, we've been pretty lucky. So spikes in cancellations are more of a customer service situation to deal with, because we're pretty confident that as soon as something gets cancelled, it goes back into the inventory.
The cancellations we see are driven by government policy changes, pretty much, and as Richard pointed out there, then once we take stock of that, we understand who's impacted. We want to proactively communicate out to those people as soon as we possibly can to allow them to make the decisions of what they want to do. Change of dates, refunds, and then, as Richard said there, if it's change of dates, we can hopefully get some availability further down the line for them. If it's not, it goes back into the inventory, and if that dates then become available because the government policy's changed again, then hopefully we can refill that. We haven't changed anything in particular to, for customers. I have seen a lot with international travel where it's almost like, book now with zero deposit, cancel to 48 hours before you go kind of thing. These type of offers for hotels and stuff like that. For us, we've got two clear stakeholder groups and two people's interests we need to look after. So it's the customers, and we want people who are booking who would generally want to go away on the holidays, but then it's also the property owners as well who use that income to to support their livelihoods. So we've got two clear stakeholder groups there. So having something along the lines of us, we could cancel up to 24 hours, 40 hours before they were to depart, really wouldn't work for our property owners. If that was the case. So we need to balance that as an agency in the middle, the interests of both sets of customers and owners there.
I'm quite aware of it because my wife's actually head of sales, so I get all these stories sort of direct fed in. But it's mainly been on more of our sort of custom stuff where people are dropping a bit more money, and some people have just been extremely candid about it. And it's like, I'm hoping to go away to the States, but if it doesn't, what would a 7-day trip in the Highlands look like?
Okay.
And in those instances, we're just saying, we can look at that, but it's a slightly difficult conversation of sort of saying, it's going to be lower priority though, because there's people that are genuinely interested.
I've been amazed at consumers' flexibility, and they will literally just go anywhere. We had a tour we were running tours last September, October, and we had a tour to Liverpool that we couldn't go to Liverpool. I think it was the tier system, and I wasn't here, but it was in, I can't remember what the tiers were. It was in the highest tier. We couldn't go there. 50 customers on a coach to Liverpool. Can't go there, but we're going to go to Bournemouth instead. 45 of them said, yeah, that's okay. I mean, you're not really going to get much different. It was just, and I think this year, look what we've seen. I mean, I've only been to Portugal a couple of times, and I think it's a lovely place. It's not somewhere that I would rush back to, because I think there's other places that I want to go. But if that's the only place, how many people on that first 30 flights last week that left the UK actually wanted to go to Portugal? They didn't. They just wanted to get away. So I think we've got all of the nooks and cranny places that don't normally sell probably will, because of that limited availability. I guess the challenge for all of our businesses is, what is the normal next year? You know, so we're really thinking about, yeah, it's great that that's doing well, but is that because that's all there is? You know, are people doing more 5 days because they can't get, you know, the theatres aren't open, or are they doing more? We don't know. We don't know. And it's just be a really weird year to be able to. Well, look, we can't. No one's comparing versus 2020 at the moment. You can compare versus 19, but then does that make a lot of sense anyway? And consumer behaviour is so up and down. It's just very, very difficult.